to Governor Newsom about the state's much criticized emergency response. Let's bring in our confronter-in-chief, Pacific Palisades resident Rachel Darvish, California State Assembly member Carl DeMaio, and ClimateDepot.com executive editor Mark Morano. Thank you so much for coming on, everybody. We appreciate it. Rachel, to you first. That was your deal right there. I mean, we know that he wasn't literally, as he said, literally talking to the president at the time because he couldn't get through to the president. But you think the gist of his conversation was fairly accurate?
I think he also wasn't talking to the president because he was talking to me.
Right.
So that was a little bit offensive, especially every time I watch it now. It's a different emotion, to be honest. So what I saw, he did hand me his phone, or he did open his phone out. I was able to see there were a couple of calls on there. I saw who they were to. I saw names. I saw potentially his wife on there. And I saw the order. But he wasn't on a call.
Yeah.
That's a fact, because he was talking to me.
Yeah, he wasn't on a call.
He wasn't on a call.
Meantime, the Los Angeles Times, Carl, writes the following: Newsom orders investigation into dry fire hydrants that hampered L.A. firefighting in L.A. It goes on to say Governor Gavin Newsom has ordered an investigation into the causes behind water supply problems that left fire hydrants dry and hampered firefighters' efforts during the devastating fires in Southern California. He's calling for an investigation, but Joe Biden says he's given us the answer. It was the electricity turned off. And you have the water authority saying, no, it was the water pressure. It just simply wasn't there. They gave us two answers, and now they're calling for an investigation. I'm confused.
Newsom is nothing more than a liar. He's trying to deflect the blame. Yesterday, he said asking questions was inappropriate. Yesterday, he said this was all misinformation. Today, he says, oh, golly, maybe we should investigate. Look, we need more Rachels to confront every politician in office in California to demand answers. What did they do to prepare for this? Why did they not have the resources in place, the fire mitigation? Why did we not have proper insurance for most of the homes in California? Right. Why did we not have proper firefighter staffing? All of these issues. We didn't even have water in the most important reservoir that was needed. And now we have a president that seems to be spinning a tale about power needed. Well, you know what? If you know you're turning out the power, you have backup generators because you know you have a fire on your hands and you need to pump water.
But the power was on.
And
Rachel can attest to that because she was there at the time and we see the video, and the video's not lying. The power was on. Mark, to you first. State probe to why Pacific Palisades Reservoir was offline, empty when the firestorm exploded. Carl gave you the segue here. It goes on to say officials said that the Santa Ynez Reservoir had been closed since about February for repairs to its cover, leaving a 117 million gallon water storage complex empty in the heart of the Palisades for nearly a year. You talk about a colossal mess up, Mark.
Yes, we don't need an investigation. We know the exact causes, everything right now. And it's a lack of priorities for one thing: human flourishing, human economics, and human well-being. This is a government at all three levels in California that perhaps more than any place else in the entire planet has gone all in on what you could call the Garden of Eden syndrome. Mm-hmm. And all of their policies were designed to restore California to pre-human settlement, the pristine environment. We'll save the species, the fish we're going to save. And it never even occurred to them that all the people lived there, that more and more people and development was going on, and that they needed a plan. They needed multiple layers of plan to deal with these kind of catastrophes, which they apparently knew because they kept warning us climate change was causing them, which, by the way, the science doesn't support. But still, they claimed that they knew they were coming, and yet all they cared about was bragging about blowing up the dams, destroying them, as Gavin Newsom did. This is an ideological, philosophical problem that's the solution right there. That's the root causes of this.
Rachel, when you hear all this, what do you think? I mean, you hear these excuses, you hear these investigations, you were up there. What do you think?
It makes me sick because it's me who's affected. So when this guy is doing what he's doing, there are consequences. There are consequences to decision-making or not decision-making. There are consequences to being in West Africa when West Los Angeles is potentially going to be on fire. Yeah. That's how I see it.
It's crazy. Carl DeMaio, You wrote the press release, or gave the press release. The headline is, LA fire victims may not be able to rebuild. This nightmare is only beginning because existing California state laws and regulations will make it impossible for many fire victims to rebuild. I've got 30 seconds for you. Explain that one, Carl.
It's basically the insanity of California building regulations, and all these fire victims are underinsured. Many of them are in the government FAIR plan, which does not have adequate reserves, and they are also going to face a mountain of regulatory hurdles, including in the Palisades area, coastal commission approvals, which are much more strenuous. I'm calling on the legislature to convene this Monday, not to Trump-proof California, to fire-proof California, and to help these fire victims get back their lives.
Very quickly, Mark, I got to take your take on this. I mean, a lot of these people don't even have insurance, and God knows if they'll get it again.
Yeah, absolutely not. Again, and one of them is environmental regulations. Gavin Newsom, during the lockdowns, bragged that California had more billionaires than anywhere else and that his economy was doing well. Gavin Newsom needs to care about the middle class and about the working class. He doesn't. This is about the donor class.
Mark, Carl, Rachel, nice to see you. Welcome. Man, oh, man. Fox News at Night was back out in the field today, anchoring the 4 p.m. hour on Fox News and covering the